Well, viewers, ABC has pulled late-night host Jimmy Kimmel off air indefinitely over comments he made about the shooting of right-wing influencer Charlie Kirk. The network, which Disney owns, announced on Wednesday night that it would remove Kimmel's show from its schedule for the foreseeable future after the Trump administration official responsible for licensing ABC's local stations publicly pressured the company to punish him for what they call offensive and insensitive comments. Just as he was going in to record his show on Wednesday night, ABC pulled the plug. Donald Trump later called the move great news for America, congratulated ABC for its courage in a social media post.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
We're just about to walk in. Interestingly enough, they waited to pull the plug on this right as the studio audience was about to walk in. It wasn't like this morning or last night. They waited for everyone to come into work today. They didn't tell us what had happened. They just said that the show was canceled. Initially, my concern was, I hope everyone's okay. No one got injured.
Well, by and large, I'm not going to get into exactly what Kimmel said. That's all over social media right now. But his basic crux was that he's conservative voices and conservative figures are using Charlie Kirk's assassination for political gain. That's primarily what he was the root of his joke, I guess you can say. But at its core, this is about free speech and how fragile it can be when corporate and regulatory pressures combine. So it wasn't exactly Donald Trump. It was the FCC. That's the Federal Communications Commission in the U.S., which is the independent government agency that regulates radio, TV, satellite, cable communications. They issue broadcast licenses, manage the airways, and enforce rules about things like indecency or obscenity. But let's be clear, the FCC doesn't by law control political commentary or satire. But FCC Chair Brendan Carr, he's an appointee of Trump, by the way, publicly criticized Kimmel, calling his remarks truly sick and implying broadcasters could face consequences. So no law was broken by Kimmel, but the statement alone pressures networks to act preemptively. And as a result, ABC, Disney, and Nexstar affiliates pulled the show, citing political or potential offense. Now, that's corporate overreach at its finest, but rather than defend free expression, as you just said, these companies silenced Kimmel's voice to avoid criticism. But let's just take a look at the other side of the coin. Now, there's a larger trend at play over here, and that is that late night talk shows are supposed to be about comedy, right? Sketches, humor, and entertainment, as you also just said. That's a tradition, but today and over the past few years, many have shifted to overtly political and, let's face it, left-leaning commentary. There are some right-leaning shows as well, but bottom line, political humor. The show has become a platform for partisanship rather than laughs. So the takeaway here is that it's not really about Democrats, Republicans, or any party directly censoring speech over here. It's about the entertainment ecosystem and what it's turned into.
Well, some would say the mecca of free speech is actually America, and this is where this is actually happening. Let's get you now some of those details as far as what really happened and why is it that ABC pulled the plug on Jimmy Kimmel just when he was about to start recording his show. First and foremost, this happened. The late night show host on ABC was, in fact, Trump. You can say that it was the FCC, but at the end of the day, FCC appointee is a Trump confidant, someone close to him, which is why he really sort of towed the political line, so to say, off air after that particular Kirk comment that he made. And something that riled. In fact, he also went on to say and to speak about the MAGA group in general. That comment, that single comment that he made really irked the political base of Donald Trump, and which is why he felt that he must move. Trump celebrated the exit of Jimmy Kimmel because he's essentially a left-leaning voice. Increasingly, his show was all about takedowns as far as Trump is concerned, a political takedown, so to say, and essentially was getting less about comedy and more about politics. Next up, there are more people on Trump's radar, and that is the NBC show hosts who are actually now on Trump's radar, which is Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers. Again, people who are known to be very pro-Democrats or anti-Republican voices or anti-Trump voices, so to say, and they are now also on Donald Trump's radar. Trump calls them total losers. See, it's okay to not have political alignment, but it's not okay when that is actually leading to freedom of speech and freedom of expression being curtailed. Trump has asked NBC to shut their shows as well. And if that happens, then you can understand what I started by saying, that the mecca of free speech and free expression is where all this is happening. And they're the ones lecturing the world about what should happen. Now, late night shows on CBS, which is Stephen Colbert, was the first one to actually be cancelled. It was cancelled after 10 long years against someone who's been at crossroads and loggerheads with Donald Trump. And well, Donald Trump had another adjective to define him, which was talentless. All that is fine. You can call each other talentless and have a problem with each other's politics. But when that comes in the way of free speech, that's where the larger problem is.